I've been playing video games for probably around 20 years now. I'm 27 years old, and by far Star Wars Hunters has had one of the weirdest journeys for a game that I've ever played in those 2 decades. It's been in soft launch for about 2 years now, and a lot of people are just essentially very confused by it. Some people are very keen for this game, albeit the delays have probably dampened that a little bit, and some people could not care less about this game at all. It is definitely a very divisive type of game in the fact that people either seem to be really keen on it or they know absolutely nothing about it. So today I kind of want to just help you guys figure out whether this is actually something you'd be keen on, and we're going to be going over whether you guys should or should not be excited for Star Wars Hunters. Now, for those of you who pretty much know nothing about the game, Star Wars Hunters is a 4v4 third-person arena shooter set in the Star Wars universe. It is going to be launching this year, although it actually has been delayed multiple times now, and obviously with 3 months left, I don't know if it actually is going to launch this year. That's when they've said it is going to be launching, and it will be launching on Android, iOS, as well as on the Switch 2 that we know of. Now, there are rumors, or I guess hints, at potentially launching on consoles like the PS5 and the Xbox, but that is just kind of a tinfoil hat theory at the moment. There's no concrete evidence to support that, but there's just a few things that do point towards that being at least a potential thing down the line. Now, the easiest way to explain the game is that it is pretty much just a slightly smaller scale version of Overwatch, but set in Star Wars. There's a bunch of different hunters to choose from, all with their own weapons, abilities, different health pools, and they all contribute different stuff to the team. It is definitely a very team-oriented game. It's the type of game that playing with friends is going to be a very, very fun time. Now, you can definitely play on your own and still have an absolute blast. I've been playing this soft launch for probably nearly 2 years now, on and off, and I've only actually squatted up with friends just a couple of times, so obviously in that amount of time, that is still a lot of solo time that I've played, and I've still had an absolute blast with it. That being said, it is definitely the type of game that, like I said, it is team-oriented, so if you do have a bunch of mates that you want to play with, you're probably going to end up winning more games, you're probably going to do better, and you probably will have a little bit more fun with it if that is the case. So it's kind of a win-win for everyone. If you just want to play by yourself, you can definitely do that, and you can even just make friends through the game, or if you've already got a gang of mates that you want to jump on and play with, well, you guys are going to have a lot of fun with it as well. Now, there is also likely going to be a ranked mode. I don't think we've had actual confirmation of that just yet, but there is a casual section on the menu that was added around a year ago now, I think, maybe a little bit less than that. And so the fact that it says casual when you are in the matchmaking sort of section of the game, that really does point towards there potentially being a ranked mode, which I think is going to be amazing if that is the case, because this is definitely the type of game that would be so much fun to actually be able to grind ranked, earn a bunch of cool rewards and stuff like that, and trying to get into some really competitive game modes. Like I said, this is definitely going to be the type of game that is going to be really fun to try and grind. Already, even before the game has launched, there's been a heap of like weekly missions and even like more seasonal missions as well, and there are even like daily missions as well, just small stuff like, jump on and win 3 games and you get a little reward for it too. So there's definitely a lot of stuff to grind for. There are a lot of really, really cool skins, a lot of weapon skins and all that kind of thing to unlock. How it was in the past, now I don't actually know how it is currently because I already had all of the hunters unlocked. How it was at the start of the game, you actually had to individually unlock each of the hunters, and that was a bit of a grind fest. I'm not gonna lie, it was good grind. It wasn't like over the top, but it just took a long time to do it. However, I remember they made some actual changes to that, and I can't actually remember if you do still have to unlock every single hunter or not. Probably should have done the research before I actually made the video, but I just completely forgot that because obviously when I got the game, you did have to unlock them all. So I'm not too sure if that is still the case, but like I said, there is definitely still plenty of stuff to actually unlock. And like I said, if there is going to be ranked, there will then also be like ranks to try and grind as well. So it's going to be a very grindy game in a good way. I think sometimes there are games that are like too grindy, where it's just all you're doing is actually grinding. There's no fun in it. That won't be the case with this game because the gameplay is actually super, super fun. So it's not grinding where you're just kind of monotonously doing something. The only grind is going to be just putting in the time and playing, but the actual matches are very fun themselves. So it's not a bad grind, if that makes sense. It's going to be the good kind of grind where the hours you put into it and the hours of fun that you're having do also pay off in terms of unlocking cool skins and stuff like that. Now, just touching back on the gameplay, like I said, the gameplay is genuinely very fun. I was very skeptical because obviously it's a mobile game. It will be on the Switch too, but it's kind of primarily a mobile game. And I'm not the biggest mobile gamer. I've been playing Pokemon Go over the last year or so, but that's also very different than a game like this. And so I was skeptical when I started playing it, but to be honest, it is genuinely really, really good. It does feel like a console game. It obviously isn't, this AAA graphics that you would get from like a Battlefront 2, but it definitely feels like it is a console game. Just the fact that you're playing on a phone just makes it feel like a mobile game. The reason for that is probably just because it is launching on the Switch as well. So they've obviously tried to make it as much of a console game as they can, and it definitely plays very, very well. It plays very smoothly, and and it is actually really balanced across all the different modes as well. The fact they've got so many hunters in the game in different modes and stuff like that, it is actually probably one of the most balanced like early launches of a game that I've ever played. Usually multiplayer shooters, when they launch, they are definitely not balanced at all, but I think this is probably up there with one of the most balanced shooters that I've played, at least for how early in the game it is. It's obviously technically not even out yet. Now, the other good thing is that it has controller support and actually plays really, really well on controller. Like I said, it feels like a console game, and that actually translates perfectly well to when you do play it on a controller. Now, what I mean by controller support is you guys can actually just hook your Xbox or PlayStation controllers up to your phone, and you can do that wirelessly. You don't have to do it with an actual cord. You can literally just do it through Bluetooth, and then you can literally sit there and play it as if it is a literal console game, even though it's just watching it on your phone instead of on the TV, for example. That right there, that change made it genuinely so much better. It was already a really fun game, but when it was actually added, you know, when the controller support was added, the game became so much more fun to me, and it genuinely feels really, really good. So I know a lot of you guys probably wouldn't have been interested at all if it was just on mobile, and maybe you guys don't have a Switch or something, but if you've got any console, even I think PS4, not just PS5 controllers, it's probably the same with Xbox One as well. In fact, I know that because I've been using the Xbox One instead of the Xbox Series X controller on my phone. You can literally just hook that up and play. So even if you just have a last generation console like a PS4 or Xbox One, you guys can still play this with a controller. It is so much fun, and that for me was an absolute game changer. Overall, I do think it is a very, very fun game, and I think the fact that it is free to play means essentially everyone who's a Star Wars fan and likes gaming should try this game. You might not like it, you might download it and think this is the worst game I've ever played, I don't know, but I definitely think there is no downside to actually playing it when it does come out. Now, when it does come out, I'm not even too sure, because obviously they've really kept us in the dark in terms of the launch. All we know is it's meant to be launching this year, but they've said that 2 years running, so I actually don't know if it will launch this year or not. But I will say that when it does launch, I really recommend you guys give this game a try. Like I said, it's free. If you don't like it, literally just delete it. It is no harm done to you guys. But if you go into it open-minded like I did, you may actually be surprised, because when the game came out, I was initially not that excited for it. As a creator, I was, because it was something to cover, but as a gamer, I kind of just thought that it's not going to be that good, and honestly, I became addicted to it after a little while. So definitely give it a try. Like I said, you may not like it, but at the end of the day, it is a free game, and I definitely think a lot of people want to sleep on it. Anyway, hopefully that helps you guys in terms of figuring out if this is something you should or should not be excited for. If you are interested in the game, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications, because I will be covering any and all news leading up to the launch, and obviously plenty of content after launch, so make sure you don't miss out. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.